What's up everybody? As you can see in the title of this video, what we are going to be talking about are JRPGs that we should be looking out for in the year 2019, whether that comes down to them coming out, whether we're going to get some really big news, or if they're just slated to release in 2019 but we don't have an exact release date. 2, I want to thank you guys for taking me to 500 subscribers. It was amazing when we hit 200, it was great when we hit 300, and it was mind-blowing to me when we hit 400, but I honestly cannot believe that you guys have taken me to 500 subscribers. It is absolutely amazing and I cannot thank you enough. 3, I am a little bit under the weather, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird, but with all of that being said, let's jump into the topic of this video. First of all, Tales of Vesperia, which will be coming out early January, so only in a couple of weeks. This is the definitive edition of this game. We are going to be getting added content that never came to the West. We're going to get a beefed up post game. We're going to get new side quests and sub stories for all of our side characters. We will get 2 new permanent party members in Flynn and Patty, and just a whole bunch more content. Honestly, this is going to be the best way to play this game when it comes out. So if you have been looking to jump into the Tales series, I think this is the greatest time to do it. And if you want another recommendation after playing this game, I would recommend Tales of Xillia or Tales of Berseria. Kingdom Hearts 3. As anybody who has been on this channel for the last couple of months or even for the last 3 years knows that Kingdom Hearts is my favorite gaming franchise, and it is amazing to finally see the culmination of 9 games being put into one, with Kingdom Hearts 3 looking to be the best game in the series so far. Kingdom Hearts 3 is only the end of the Dark Secret Saga. It is not the end of the Kingdom Hearts series. I would imagine though, after this game, we'll probably get a final mix update through DLC and maybe a Game of the Year edition with all of the side DLC put in there, and then we may get a 3 to 4 year break from this series, seeing as Tetsuya Nomura, the director of Kingdom Hearts 3 and the director of all of the other Kingdom Hearts games, is going to be focusing on Final Fantasy VII Remake. You better get your copies pre-ordered because this is a JRPG that you are not going to want to miss. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. This is the 3rd expansion into the MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, which I feel is probably the best MMO of all time. But getting my opinions out of the way, this expansion is obviously going to bring new dungeons, new raids, new story content, and much more, including a new job. And there possibly may be more than one new job, but one that we do know about is a possible Gunblade class, the same weapon from FF8's protagonist Squall uses. So there could be a class based around that in the future of FF14 when Shadowbringers drops in early summer 2019. If you have not tried out this game, please do. It is an amazing game, and if you've ever wanted to go on a Final Fantasy like adventure with an amazing story with your friends right there beside you, I highly recommend that you and your friends try this game out. I guarantee you'll love it. Next, Shenmue 3. Yes, this game has been delayed a couple of times before, but as of right now, the current release date is August 27th, 2019, and this is a game that a lot of people consider to be the predecessor to the Yakuza series, because Yakuza took a lot of things that were present in Shenmue 1 and 2 and expanded and improved upon them in future titles and releases. So with that being said, hopefully with this backing that they got and all the time they have taken to bring us Shenmue 3, hopefully it will be an experience that many of us will remember and enjoy for years. The Judgment. This game was formerly known as Judge's Eyes, but the official title is now Judgment. This game has actually released in Japan by the time of me uploading this video, but it will be coming west in summer 2019 with dual audio confirmed. So for people who maybe didn't want to jump into the Yakuza games, mainly because I know some people find subs annoying and just hard to follow, this game will actually have English voice acting, and for the people like myself who want to experience this game in just pure Japanese with subtitles, they will have that option as well for anybody who wants to enjoy the game whichever way they choose. So from this game you can expect great combat and plethoras of mini games and side content to have. Look out for this game in summer 2019. Into the Caligula Effect. This is basically a PS4 remaster of a PS Vita game that released back in 2016. It recently got an anime this year and it will be releasing in 2019 on PS4. As you can see, the game has a really good looking art style. This game game has been worked on and been made by people who work on the Shin Megami Tensei series, so there is a lot of psychological elements and delving deep into character psyche within this game, but I do feel like it is unique enough for Persona and Shin Megami Tensei to warrant a buy and actually carve out its own lane, and I can't wait to see what else they do with this franchise if the game is successful enough to produce more games within this series. Next, Town. This is an RPG coming from the team that works on the Pokemon games, Game Freak. This game takes place in one singular town where everything is peaceful, but then one day monsters begin to attack. So basically throughout the game you're probably going to figure out the mystery behind why monsters are all of a sudden coming to your peaceful town and find a way for them to stop coming to your town. And in battles it is like a true RPG, and you will actually summon villagers to help you fight in certain situations. So there is going to be some elements of a Pokemon-esque system in this game, seeing as you can call townspeople to come out and help you within battles. So that is something that we should be looking out for. While it does not have a date right now, it is slated to release in 2019, so keep an eye out for that. Next, another exclusive Nintendo RPG, Fire Emblem The Three Houses. This is the first actual Fire Emblem game coming to the Switch other than Fire Emblem Heroes, which was a Dynasty Warriors clone. This game is the most graphically impressive Fire Emblem that we have seen in a very long time, since the days of the Wii, and they have stated that movements from the characters while in battle will be more realistic as opposed to the last two entries on the 3DS, also mentioning that these characters will more likely have realistic proportions, meaning that they'll look a fair bit more realistic as opposed to the anime-esque look of the last 2 or 3 Fire Emblem games. And from what we can see in the artwork, we can see that just a little bit. They're not straying way too far from what they were doing in the last couple of games, but it does look a fair bit different if you compare the artwork of Fire Emblem Fates as opposed to Fire Emblem Three Houses as of what we have seen. And last but not least to mention about this game, there seems to be some type of open world aspect to it, but they haven't really elaborated on that too much. But with that being said, Nintendo is always really good when it comes to release dates, so we can expect this game to release sometime in 2019, even though we haven't gotten an actual release date. Code Vein, an anime-esque Dark Souls as a lot of people would describe it, even though the original Dark Souls trilogy's art style was based upon Berserk, which is a really popular manga that was adapted into an anime. But my small rant aside, this game is looking like it's going to be very good from all the gameplay we have seen. It has been delayed. It was actually supposed to release sometime this year, but they eventually pushed it back into 2019, and they haven't really given us a specific date. So let's say that we're probably going to get this in the later half of 2019, sometime in the summer, fall, or even the last month of the year, December. But we'll see how that goes depending on how the development is and the issues that they're having. They could push it back even farther. Either way, I'm excited to play this game, and I hope that everything stays on track so we can actually get this game this year. Persona 5. As we know, with the last couple of mainline Persona games, they always end up getting a re-release with Persona 3 FES and Persona 4 Golden. So it was only a matter of time before Persona 5 got a re-release, and with the announcement of Joker coming to Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think Persona is going to have another big year, with Atlus registering a couple of domain names for Persona 5, which are Persona 5R, Persona 5S, and Persona 5B. We can only assume that Persona 5R maybe stands for Reloaded, which is the name that a lot of people are throwing around for the eventual re-release on PS4. Persona 5S could stand for the Switch release, which will probably have the updated content already on it, and Persona 5B could probably stand for Persona 5 Battle Arena Ultimax, which is a title that a lot of people see Atlus using for the Persona 5 fighting game, which will be created by Arc Systems after they finish with Grand Blue Fantasy. So with that being said, we can expect probably a Persona 5 re-release sometime in 2019, just with all of the news and signs pointing to it. Nier Automata Game of the Yorha Edition. This is basically going to be the original Nier Automata bundled with the DLC that came out for it a couple of months later, all on one disc, and this will be the version sold of the game on Steam. There is no word about fixing the PC port. We can only hope, but seeing as they haven't done on anything yet. I don't think we can really hope for that too much, but luckily modders have gotten the PC port of Nier Automata ready and working if you do want to go ahead and play it right now. Look out for this in February 2019. Last but not least, this whole section here is dedicated to games that could possibly get some love in 2019, but more than likely we're only going to get news because we haven't heard too much about them. So starting off, Shin Megami Tensei 5. This game was actually revealed to be in the works at the Switch's launch event about 2 or 3 years ago. We've only gotten one trailer since that original announcement, and we haven't heard too much else about it. I understand Persona 5 is taking precedence over that, and I also do know that Alice is working on Project Refantasy, which I will talk about in a little bit, but it is kind of strange seeing that Shin Megami Tensei 5 was announced 3 years ago. We haven't gotten too much more about it. I really hope this isn't going to be a situation like Persona 5 where it came out almost 3 years after its original release date, but we can only hope that now that Persona 5 is done and out the door and there's only so much more they're going to do with that game, that Shin Megami Tensei 5 will be in full production starting sometime this year, and we'll get more news about it. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. This is a game that is being produced by Side Games but being developed by Platinum Games. Grand Blue was originally a gacha RPG over there that's super popular in Japan, to the point where they have a fan fest every year for the game at this point. So it's extremely popular. And we originally got a look at this game early 2017, if I remember correctly, but after that we really didn't hear too much about it until a couple of weeks ago at Grand Blue Fest, where they talked about it once again, and it's still a title in the works. There is no year set for this game to come out, but it is looking a whole lot better than what we saw before, so we can only hope that we get some news and even a possible release date for this game in 2019. Project Refantasy. This game is being developed by Studio Zero, which is under Atlas, and the team working on it is the team that made Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5, as well as the director who made Persona 3, 4, and 5. Recently we have gotten some comments about it at TGS 2018 saying that the setting is somewhere in Shibuya and is going to be a fantasy setting, and they really want to make this game really original, starting from ground zero. So they're really taking a lot of time to make this game really unique and stand out. We haven't really gotten too much from this game other than a couple of teaser trailers and the occasional comment about it when an interviewer asks Hoshino about it, but not really too much. But seeing as Persona 5's development is pretty much over and done with, and they're just going to do the re-release eventually sometime in 2019 or 2020, and Catherine Full Body is going to be releasing in February 14th of 2019, they really don't have too much else on their hands other than this game, so we can hopefully expect to get some news and maybe even a gameplay trailer of this game sometime in 2019. Last but definitely not least, Final Fantasy VII Remake. With Kingdom Hearts 3 development slowing down and pretty much being done at this point, and Tetsuya Nomura, who is also the director of Final Fantasy VII Remake, moving on from Kingdom Hearts 3, we can expect that this game's development will start rolling really fast, and we probably can expect this game to eventually be a PS5 title because the PS4, Xbox One generation is slowly coming to an end, most likely sometime at the end of 2020 or sometime in 2021. And Square has also kind of put clues out there that Final Fantasy VII is going to start having a big media run, because recently Square has actually created a Final Fantasy Remake Twitter. You can actually go and look this up right now. It's on Twitter. You can find it. We can expect this game to start getting the love that it deserves now that KH3 is wrapping up, and that series is probably going to take a break for the next 3 to 4 years probably, and move on into Final Fantasy VII, a game that Square quite frankly needs to succeed because they cannot afford another game that had such mixed opinions on it as Final Fantasy 15. Whereas Final Fantasy 15 did recoup its cost, it didn't really turn too much of a profit for Square Enix, and even actually developing the DLC in the long term put Square Enix back in the hole for that game's development. So Final Fantasy VII Remake is a game that Square has to get right, or it could spell big big red warning signs all over Square Enix if it does not. With all of that being said, these are JRPGs that you need to look out for in the year of 2019. Again, I'll say this once more, if there are games and franchises that you want me to talk about other than Kingdom Hearts on this channel and explain things from those series, let me know down below, because I am interested in more than just Kingdom Hearts. So I will see all you guys in the next one. Thank you for 500 subscribers once again, and I will see you next time.